Hi babes, how are you? My name is Moran. Welcome to my series, Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit, and today we have a compilation of stories about awful men. Like, the choice between being stuck in the woods with a bear or with a strange man? These are the stories that just confirm my choice, and I'm sure a lot of women's choice, to be rather stuck in the woods with a bear. My voice might be weird, that's because I'm sick as but I couldn't just leave you without the stories. So, well, let's go. So the first one we have today comes from Best of Redditor updates. Boyfriend got mad after I refused his property tattoo idea. Okay, so this is a throwaway account. I'm 23 female, dating my boyfriend, 26 male, together almost 2 years. Recently, during sex, he brought up this wild idea about him tattooing his name's property on me down there so I'd be officially his. It caught me off guard, but since we were in the middle of roleplay, I just went along with it and said yes to that since it was just bedroom talk. Fast forward a few days and he casually brought it up again, asking if I'd be okay with him tattooing that phrase on me down there. I thought he was still joking, so I played along sarcastically, telling him I'd love to get it tattooed, thinking there is no way he was serious. Now, 5 days after this incident, he actually ordered an $800 tattoo pen. I was so thrown off and honestly felt super weird about it. I told him that I thought he wasn't serious at all. He got really disappointed and said he was serious because he's already tattooed my name on his collarbone. Since he knows I don't want a visible tattoo, he figured this would be a good compromise because no one else would see it but him. This seems really controlling to me, and this controlling behavior has been surfacing more frequently, like he insists on knowing exactly where I am at all times and gets upset if I don't respond to his texts right away. We ended up having this ridiculous argument yesterday. He's upset, saying he'd gladly tattoo my name or anything related to me anywhere on his body again, so he can't understand why I won't do this one thing for him. I told him I wasn't okay with this, and eventually he calmed down and agreed to drop it. But I can still sense that he's mad at me and upset that I wouldn't do something for him that he would do for me without hesitation. Honestly, I can't believe this is even a real argument. I know this is serious and I don't want to ignore the signs, but it's hard for me to look at it that way because I love him more than anyone. He genuinely loves me, always checking up on me and making sure I'm okay. He's always there for me, even in my hardest times when no one was there to help me. I'm genuinely worried about how our relationship could escalate, especially considering he has a short temper and he has started being so controlling recently. What should I do? I feel really bad and suffocated when I'm the reason he gets upset regarding something. Edit, I didn't share much about our relationship and there's a lot to consider. I know a lot of you are saying I should leave him and he's a red flag. It's not that easy for me because he's never shown any manipulative signs before, cares about me a lot, and never made me feel like I'm a burden to him in any way. He's moved countries for me, quit his job, and went through the hassle of finding a new one near where we live now. He stopped talking to his parents because they didn't like me and wouldn't accept our relationship because from their point of view I have too much influence on him and that I am distracting him from his family when in reality I am not. In all our disagreements, even though he's short-tempered, he's never yelled at me or showed any signs of hitting me, always respected my boundaries regarding literally anything, except a couple times when he annoyed the out of me asking my location 24/7 and who I'm hanging out with, which happened recently. He is close with my family and my friends all like him. I haven't told them about the recent stuff. It's not like he's ever tried to isolate me or anything. He came up to me today bringing up the tattoo thing. He admitted that it was a stupid kink and fantasy he had in his mind and he got carried away with it. He said he was truly ashamed and disgusted by how he reacted connected to it, feels horrible for making me uncomfortable with himself for even having such an idea. It really got to him and he started crying, saying he knows this recent controlling behavior is damaging our relationship, says he needs second chance and hopes I don't give up on him because he genuinely needs help. He had been thinking about his behavior from the past months and it had been bothering him, but he was unable to address it to me because he fears I'd break up. He kept apologizing, saying he wasn't thinking straight when he ordered the pen. He made it clear that he won't ever force me or pressure me to do anything or get mad for things if I don't want to do it, and won't second question my decision ever again. He suggested we do couple therapy and he's ready to work on himself because he feels like he's losing control over his actions and doesn't fully understand why this is happening. I really appreciate the advice and support, and I'll definitely be keeping it in mind as I figure out what I should do. Okay, no. First of all, you're being like, he really loves me and he never yells at me and whatever, but in the same post, you just keep mentioning these huge red flags. Like, he keeps asking you where you are, controlling your location 24/7, and this clinginess that is definitely toxic. And probably he is behaving this way because he's afraid of losing you for some reason. I don't know, maybe something changed in your relationship, or maybe he's just finally showing his true colors. But regardless of that, I get it that you've been together for 2 years and you love him more than anything, but he literally wanted to brand you like a cow, and you're not a cow and you're not his property. So the fact that it even crossed his mind is very, very alarming. Also, there's this huge red flag when you were arguing about the tattoo and he was like, so I did it to myself and I don't understand why you wouldn't do this for me. So you're saying he's never been manipulative before, but now he is being awfully manipulative and about quite a large thing. So I would definitely recommend heavily reconsidering the whole relationship because this is scary. Okay, maybe it's a kink as he's saying, but it's a pretty up thing to suggest in the first place. And then also what just blew my mind is that he wanted to do it himself. Like, he ordered a tattoo pen. My guy, are you aware that you have to actually learn to tattoo people before you actually start tattooing people? You are very likely to give her an infection and a very horrendous tattoo, or not even a tattoo, I would say that's just like scratchy marks, if you don't know how to do it, because there is so much that goes into actually properly being able to even do a line on human skin. So that's insane on the whole another level, whole another topic. But ultimately, yes, never shown anything alarming, but now he is. Yes, everyone is super cute and nice. Well, most of the people can be super cute and nice when times are good, but now there's clearly something happening that's making him insecure and he's clinging to you. So imagine if you're going through like even more difficult periods. Imagine if he gets super jealous over someone, whether it be for a reason or just out of the blue. Imagine you're having hard financial times, or he's losing a job, or he's going through a very tough depressive episode. Imagine how he's going to be then, because this is not about to get any better. So top comments here is commenter 1, you already know you need to get out of this relationship. He's far too controlling. Commenter 2, this isn't a sign. He's actively abusing you. You're afraid of angering him. He is continuing to punish you for not doing what he wants. You are allowing it to happen. You are 23, you have your whole life ahead of you. One day you will be shocked and embarrassed that you actually dated someone like this. You will be grateful you didn't waste more of your life living like this. If you do the right thing, that is. Also, yes, this is a very good point this commenter says, because there's this alarming phrase where she goes, I feel really bad and suffocated when I'm the reason he gets upset regarding something. You should not feel like that in a healthy relationship. You should not feel terrified of upsetting your partner, because that's just part of life. People will get upset over different things. You will have fights. You should not be afraid of voicing your opinion or just speaking of something uncomfortable that might upset your partner. And this is not the case here. Comment 3. Short tempered, controlling, feeling bad and suffocated, worried about escalation. Trust your feelings. They are telling you that you are being suffocated, that you are in a bad situation, that you are in a situation likely to escalate in a bad way. Start making an exit plan. The fact that you can't easily get out of the relationship without risking him harming you, that is exactly why you need to get out. Update. 2 weeks later, I had been thinking seriously about breaking up with him because of what he did 2 weeks ago. Things started getting back to normal and he was acting fine until 4 days ago. I was out with my friends at this cafe and told him I was going out but didn't tell him name of the cafe. I told him I'd be home by 7. I lost track of time and my phone also died. It had been almost 8 and I see him walk in the cafe towards me. I still have no idea how he knew where I was since I didn't tell him what cafe I was in. Neither my friends told him anything. I asked him and he ignored me, saying he got worried and I wasn't picking up calls, so he came to check up on me. I didn't argue much since we were in public. Back home, I confronted him because it's so creepy an invasion of my privacy. He never answered my question. Then he says that he can't trust me anymore because I've been distant since the tattoo situation. And every time I'm with my friends, he thinks I'm plotting for our breakup and distancing myself. He ranted bullshit like this for 15 minutes until I was fed up and I told him I wanted to break up. He looked completely shocked. He didn't say anything and went straight to the guest room and locked the door. I panicked because I thought he might do something stupid, but he said he needs to think, so I left him alone. I didn't sleep. It was around 3:25 a.m. when I heard thudding sounds outside my room and I went out to the guest room and it's a mess. He was completely drunk and had red eyes. I don't know for how long he had been crying. He looked like a completely different person and then said to me that he loved me more than anything and could die for me and would do anything to make me happy and doesn't understand why I can't forgive him for that one mistake he's made 2 weeks ago that he's deeply regretful about. Also, he said he's not trying to control me, but he can't sit silently and watch me walk away. He will change himself for the better, but won't let me leave ever. I didn't want to talk about all this while he was in the state, so I started to leave the room and he stopped me, saying he will give me space and time however much I want, but won't let me break up with him and keep coming back to me until I figure this out and get back with him. I was so taken aback on how he was reacting to all this and what he was saying. I still can't get this line out of my head. It keeps repeating. I'll make you see how much I love you, even if you don't want it. I'll do anything to make you stay. I don't care if it takes months or years. Hearing all this, I actually started fearing him for the first time. He was completely different, so unrecognizable, and it's all so wrong on so many levels. I knew what I had to do, and I knew if I started to pack my bags that second, I didn't know what he might have done. I went into our room, didn't open it. 5 hours later, and I find him asleep on the floor. I got out of the apartment and am currently staying in my friend's house. It's been 3 days. He had been contacting me non-stop to just talk to him once in person. 834 missed calls and a gazillion messages. He came to my friend's house to talk where I was staying, but I refused. I'm a mess right now. I don't know how to handle this situation. All my things are at his apartment and I don't want to face him, especially now. I don't feel like talking to him. It's all so creepy and I hate myself that I still love and care about him after all this and the he pulled 2 weeks ago, and I cannot do anything. I don't know what to do. Where did I go wrong and why is this happening to me? I did everything I could to fix all this, but he's just changed so much in the past months. I don't know what to do. I'm losing my mind. Why the I still love him. I literally don't know how to get past this situation. I mean, you know what you have to do. You already went to your friend's place, and that's a very good decision. He is being unhinged. The phrases of, like, I will not let you break up with me are already just way beyond scary. It's like call the police type of scary. 834 missed calls. The boy doesn't go to work, I see. He just sits there dialing her number. He should work at a call center, I feel like, but that's not the point. You should just honestly leave. And there are relevant comments. The OP needs to leave her boyfriend and make sure there is no suspicious apps for him to track her down, like AirTag, etc. OP goes, I'm still figuring out what I want to do. I did get my phone checked, and thankfully there wasn't any stalkerware apps or anything like that. I didn't realize it at the time, but he had the passwords to my social media accounts, so he probably read my chats from there and figured out which cafe I was at. I don't have a car. I was just out with my phone and purse that time. I have no idea. I left my purse in his apartment, only grabbed a few important things when I was leaving at the time. Then, to the point that OP needs to change her passwords to all the sites he has access to and block her boyfriend, the OP goes, thanks for the concern, I really appreciate it. I've blocked him and I don't want to talk to him right now, and I've asked my friend to relay that to him, that I won't be speaking to him anytime soon or meeting him in person to talk things out. He agreed to give me space I asked for. He said he'd wait for me to figure things out, but I know he's not fully exactly okay with it. As for my things at his apartment, I've arranged 3 to 4 of my friends to go and grab everything tomorrow. Surprisingly, he agreed to that without any major pushback, but I'm not taking any chances, and I've already updated the passwords of my socials and bank accounts. Also, I need to figure out where I'm gonna live since we shared the place and he was covering the rent and every other thing. So until I find a new spot, I'm staying with my friend. And that, sadly, is the last thing we have from the OP. I really hope that she managed to get rid of this person, though I really doubt it, because he sounds like a great ex-stalker material who will just like follow her, be creepy towards her. I don't know, maybe it was just like some random spot of insanity for him, but it does not usually turn out this way, does it? Men be crazy. And yes, I would have picked a bear any day over this dude. So that's a wrap on this one, and let's see the next story, which is, am I the for breaking off my engagement with my fiancé because of his creepy comments toward my 14-year-old sister? I, 20 female, am in a tough situation, and I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, so I need some outside perspectives. I've been with my fiancé, Charles, 35 male, for about 2 years, and everything seemed fine until recently. A few weeks ago, my 14-year-old sister, Amy, came to stay with us for just a few days while our parents were out of town. During her stay, I started noticing some really unsettling things. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but Charles started making comments that made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. He would call her so hot and would say things like, you're going to turn heads when you're older, and you've got such a body on you already. The worst part was when he said, I'd be jealous if I were your boyfriend. Every guy will be looking at you soon. I tried to ignore it at first, but it kept happening, and I began to feel sick to my stomach. Then one evening, I overheard him telling a friend on the phone, Amy's got that look now. It's like she's starting to bloom. It was honestly one of the creepiest things I've ever heard. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I just knew I couldn't stay in that relationship anymore. I confronted him about his behavior, and he immediately got defensive. He denied it and said I was being paranoid and that I should trust him. He insisted that that he was just being nice and that I was overreacting. I didn't care. I packed my things, broke off the engagement, and moved back in with my parents. Now, my friends and some family members are telling me I overreacted. They say I should have talked it out with him first, but I don't see how that would have changed anything. So, am I the asshole for breaking up with my fiance because of his creepy comments toward my little sister? No, honestly, jail. Any grown ass man who looks at a 14-year-old child and salivates over them like this should go to jail. Literal, straight up jail. Okay? Those comments are like creepy. I wanted to say borderline creepy, but they're just creepy. And then talking to his friend about her on the phone, like, why are you obsessed with this child? We all know the answer, but gross. Absolutely disgusting. And you did the right thing. I would not leave him with my sister alone ever. So the current top comment here is, thank God OP listened to her gut instinct. It will tell you the truth. Too many of us are taught to shut it off, such as those people who told her she overreacted and should have talked it out. OP just saved her sister and herself from a pedophile. In my opinion, he began seeing OP because she was so young. OP taught her sister a lot about self-respect and personal safety as well. Not the and you're a gift to your sister. Oh, yikes. Oh my god. I just saw the age gap between OP and her fiance. So they've been going out for about 2 years. He's 35, she's 20. So he was 33 and she was 18, and he was just like classically waiting in the bushes for her to turn 18 and to pounce on a freshly minted adult. And it's absolutely disgusting. Bring out the bear. Good for her to just ditching him. And we are moving to the next story. This one comes from relationship advice. Boyfriend, male 23, called me, female 21, a for skydiving. Is it toxic or true? Basically, we broke up over the summer, and after a few weeks, I went skydiving to feel and know that I could do anything. In the relationship, he had told me that he wasn't comfortable with me doing this because my butt would be pressed up on another man's genitals. I respected this because we were dating. After the summer and skydiving, we got back together. I told him I did this, and I now receive texts such as, "You then use this excuse to slut your body out like a having a man rub his penis on you in the exact way I described. You acknowledged and I begged for you not to. And the horrible messages, him flirting with other girls I found last year, don't even come close to you physically your body out." I mean, you cannot be serious, right? In case you are, no, it's insane and it is toxic and abusive. I don't know what is wrong with that man, but just leave him. Run. Not everything has to be sexualized. This is just part of the instructor's job, and the fact that like some parts of the body might touch or whatever doesn't mean that it's like sexual, and it's definitely not even in the same universe as yourself out. And like, what? I refuse to take this seriously. This is ridiculous. And the top comment here is, I'm a dude and I went parasailing once in the same manner with a male instructor. Does this mean I'm gay? And the response to that is, apparently them's the rules. Let's move to the next story. This was reposted to Am I the Devil? Am I the for getting mad at my wife's drunken mistake? We were hosting a small party to have friends over to drink and get in the pool, and everyone ended up staying later than originally planned, but everything was cool, so I had no problem. We all kept drinking and everyone got their fair share of drunken silliness, which is fun, but everyone was still mostly level-headed. Everyone was in and out of the pool all night long, including my wife and I, so most people were taking a quick shower in our connected bathroom, and everyone was hanging out in the guest room that it connects to. My wife went in to take a shower and she seemed like she was sobered up, but she was in the shower for a while. So then suddenly she stumbled out in a towel and dove into the bed, and the back of the towel completely fell and she was laying there butt naked in front of our friends. She started throwing up over the edge of the bed and I ran to grab a bucket, but most of it got on the floor anyway. She finally got covered up and everyone, including my wife, was laughing about it. I wasn't. When they all left, I decided to wait until the morning to talk to her. She doesn't remember stumbling out of the bathroom and says I should just forget it, brushing it off. I'm so mindful on just considering leaving it be, just thinking it was an honest mistake, but at the same time, how could she have up this bad? This is like college party level shit. We're in our mid 30s. And then there is an edit, which I suspect came from him trying to defend himself after he didn't get very much support in the comments. So my wife willingly drank as much as she did, mixed tons of alcohol. I did tell her earlier in the night she was drinking a lot, so she said she'd slow it down. She's saying that it all just suddenly hit her when she was in the shower, and that leads me to my main point that she could have let me know, literally yell anything. Instead, she stumbled out to puke over the bed where she knew people were instead of the toilet right next to her. She could have even thrown up in the shower. I would have heard and helped her. I was right there. I'm not trying to be possessive in any way, but I'm just pissy about how it could have been easily avoided. And instead, not only my friends, but her coworker friends were there, so it just felt super personal and embarrassing. Everyone was trying to help her, and I mean, if you're a guy, you can understand not wanting people, mostly guys, circled around her to help. She was falling off the bed, and everyone had their hands placed trying to help, but they should have left the room after I got the bucket, and I could have handled it from there. Oh, dude, you suck. Everyone is saying he sucks, and I support it because he's making a huge deal out of this when it's not a huge deal at all. And blaming her for this and accusing her of not controlling herself better and accusing her of not throwing up in the shower and not doing this and that is just plain stupid because he acts like he has never been drunk in his entire life. I don't know, it happens, especially when you drink and you think you're fine, then it hits you, and it seems that she went to the shower and she felt better, and I know that feeling so well, and it's horrible, and I never wish this upon anyone. You do feel better for this very short amount of time, and then exactly when you lie down, you're like, okay, time to barf. It's not like she wanted to flash the entire party and throw up in front of them. It's not like she was planning to do it. So calling it like she made a mistake is dumb. It's a very unfortunate accident. So why are you being a dick about it? And it's like, oh no, they didn't leave the room and we're trying to help her. Yeah, okay, so you are mad at people for being nice and like not sexualizing her at that moment. Okay, great, awesome. The top comment here is, when you invite the god of wine and chaos into your life, there is a possibility that chaos will ensue. And then someone goes, Bacchus be like that. And someone goes, sometimes you Bacchus all over the floor. And I think that's a genius comment. The best one I've seen this year so far. Anyway, let's see the next story. This comes from True Off My Chest, and it's a bit complicated, so bear with me. Pun unintended, but still fun. My boyfriend's coworkers joked about killing me in their work chat. My boyfriend and I got into a fight about his job yet again. I noticed he was texting a lot after the fight, so once he went to sleep, I went through his phone. I saw the first few texts of them calling me names and saying I'm self-sabotaging things, but then it turned dark. One coworker said he should roofie me, so I just sleep and leave him alone. The next one said she knows how to place a catheter, a feeding tube, and IV so they could knock me out and not kill me. But then her next text made my heart stop. She said they could just chloroform me, pull all my teeth out, and feed me to pigs so nothing was left. The next coworker said her grandparents do have a pig farm. My boyfriend said, laughing my ass off, no, that's great. And of course, they all immediately said they were all joking. I packed quickly and quietly, grabbed my daughter, and left. Now my entire life, as I knew, is over. I feel like I'm overreacting. I know the police can't actually do anything, so I can't even report it because they never said my name or anything like that. I'm just scared and sad. This is awful. I'll be attaching the pics to my profile if anyone wants to see the actual messages. This is seriously horrific. There are pictures of the messages, and that's why I said the story is a bit complicated, because on the screenshots you can see this conversation and it just goes like all over the place, so you need to put in a bit of effort to like follow it. So if you want to see the messages, the links are always in the description to the video, so you can check that out. But she described pretty much everything that they were saying. I'm really glad she left, because this is the level of terrifying that you should not be risking. You know what I mean? This is not fine, because it's like, why is he venting to his coworkers about you? It seems like a pattern. It's not the first time, so he runs to them for emotional support, and they all seem to hate you, and they are all on his side, like ride or die, and now they came as far as to be literally planning a murder. I understand, obviously, of course, that a lot of people will just brag and be like dangerous in theory and like talk like that, but never be able to pull it off. But the fact that they even are discussing it and passing it off as a joke is alarming. And regardless of whether they would actually be capable of doing anything to you, it still shows that your boyfriend hates you. So why would you stay with a person who hates you this much? The top comment here is, even if they don't mention you by name, I would go to the police because they are speaking about killing someone. I mean, I'm not the big believer in the police, so unlikely to actually go anywhere, but leaving is definitely the way to go, and I would not want to meet him or his co-workers in the woods. And we are on to the last story. I moved into my boyfriend's house and I haven't been able to sleep well for 3 weeks because he doesn't let me. I had a breakdown last night and broke a lamp. I'm going to stay in a hotel tonight. Am I the asshole? I moved into my boyfriend's house that he owns 3 weeks ago, and it's been really hard. We have been fighting a lot. Many of our fights are because he doesn't let me sleep. I work 9 to 5, so I have to wake up at 8-ish. He works whenever he wants to, so he doesn't have a set sleep schedule. I used to go to sleep at around 11 to 11:30 p.m. prior to living with him. I compromised to 12/12:30 a.m., but there are nights he goes to bed at 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. There is a master bedroom and a guest bedroom. I was sleeping in the master and he would go in and out, disrupting me, so I have yelled at him. He tells me, give me 10 minutes and I'll be in bed. Hours go by, he is still not in bed and making noises in the kitchen or living room. He told me you can go to sleep without me. There is a lot of noise when he comes into the master, and he says that's where all his things are, so he needs to go in and out. I tried sleeping in the guest room, which does not have a lock, but when I do so, he comes into there and disrupts my sleep instead of going in the master. I have only been getting 5 to 6.5 hours of very broken sleep for weeks now. Yesterday evening, I told him I have a doctor's appointment at 8 a.m. before work, so I have to be up at 6:30-ish. I got ready for bed at 10 p.m. in the guest room and was watching TV on my computer with a plan to go to sleep at 11 p.m. I put a note on the door saying I have to be up early, please be considerate. I fell asleep at 11:30-ish with my eye mask on, fan on for white noise, always use this, sleep podcast, and he came in 3 times while I was sleeping and woke me up. He was drunk, turned on the light, pulled up my eye mask. I begged him every time to let me go to sleep because I have to be awake early. Then he started making a lot of noise in the hallway, saying he was having 8 strippers over, making sex noises in the bedroom. I told him I'm leaving, I just want to sleep. Why don't you let me sleep? I was on my hands and knees on the floor crying, and he said, I'm sorry, I was just playing, I'm a jerk. I told him I need to go get some sleep, and my plan was to just sleep in my car. It was now 1 a.m. I left, and he's calling me, telling me he's sorry and he's in bed. Can I come back and we can go to sleep? I come back, and he's not in bed. He's in the basement getting laundry. I said I want to go to sleep. I try to sleep again, and he then comes in and starts coddling me, telling me he loves me and he's sorry. I ask him to come to my appointment with me tomorrow, and he agrees. I still have to go to the bathroom. I go pee, and when I come out, he's in the bathroom. 10 minutes go by, and he's still in there. I start screaming at him to come. He says he's peeing. Then I go and open the door, and he closes it before I can get in. He tells me he's taking NyQuil. I just freaked out. I go into the bedroom and pull off everything off the dresser onto the floor. I then turn over the nightstand lamps, ended up breaking one. He pushed me onto the bed, and there is a necklace that he said he can't find. He's freaking out, and I'm scared, so I tell him I'll help him find it. We find it. It's past 2 a.m. and we go to sleep in the guest room. He is on my side, so I just go into the master and sleep there until my alarm goes off. I wake him up, and he starts getting ready, and he notices his front veneer is gone. He accuses me of taking it. I said I didn't. I tried to help him, but I have to go to my doctor's appointment, so I say let's go and I'll help you find it afterward. He says he wants to find it, so he stays. On the way there, he texts me, "You don't care about me. Get out and leave me alone. You are one of the most selfish individuals I met." I don't respond. Then he calls me saying he found it. I go to my appointment, get back home, and I have to work 9 to 5:30 p.m. today. I work from home. He's sleeping as I type this. I'm going to get a hotel tonight and look into moving out this weekend. I feel horrible for throwing stuff off his dresser on the floor, but I can't take this constant lack of sleep. Am I the asshole? No, you should run because he's torturing you. Sleep deprivation is one of the most effective ways of torturing a person, and that's what my ex used to do. He would pick the most important nights, the nights before my exams, the nights before I had to take a 12-hour train home, and he would get into a fight. And those would be like 8-hour fights till the morning. He would not let me go to sleep. He would just like keep going. And now, after I've gotten out of that many years, I keep thinking back on it, and I realized that it was likely done on purpose. It's done to exhaust a person, it's done to make them weaker, to make them doubt their sanity, because throughout that relationship, there were months on end where I would sleep maybe like 2-3 hours a night. I literally felt like I live in an alternate reality where I'm absolutely insane. I barely could function, barely could think, and who it benefits? The abuser. But you are just being up all the time. These nights when the person knows they're important and they do absolutely everything to keep you up, those are not accidental. And in this case, it's pretty much obvious that these are not accidental. What do you mean he was yelling that he has 8 strippers over and stuff like that? He is insane. What is he doing and why is he behaving like that? It seems just straight up malicious. It seems he wants to hurt you and doesn't even hide it. So yeah, run. Update. Thank you to everyone for the responses and for opening my eyes to the reality of my situation. I feel as though I have been in a daze, doubting myself and questioning my own sanity. Absolutely do not recommend not sleeping. I logged off work early saying I wasn't feeling well. I checked into a hotel, not the closest one because I think he may look for my car there first. Going to sleep now. Second update. context, this is a different relationship than my last posts. I started dating this guy in February 2024. He actually proposed to me at the end of May 2024 after a few months of dating with a stunning engagement ring. I said I wasn't sure because it was too soon, wore it for a day and gave it back. I said I wanted us to know each other better and live together before that step. I accepted a contract startup position in July with my job halfway across the country and was gone for weeks at a time. He asked me to move into his apartment before I accepted that position, but I told him I wanted to see it through. I would come back for 1 to 2 weeks at a time and we would stay together. He always stayed up later than me until 1, 2 a.m., but he would put headphones in, turn off lights, be quiet and respectful when I was sleeping. It was only after I moved into his house mid-November that things escalated. He told me he wanted to put me on the deed of the house, however, I declined. There is a safe in the house where he keeps the cash, probably drugs too, maybe a gun. He was quite dodgy about answering this. He asked me if I wanted the code. I said no, I didn't want to be accused if anything ever was missing. The red flags were there and my intuition was trying to warn me, should have listened to it sooner. I slept for 11 hours. Yay! My parents live 5 hours away. I was planning to see them Christmas Eve. I called and told them everything. Staying with a friend tonight, my dad offered to pick me up tomorrow and I'll be there for a few weeks at least. I will be breaking up with my boyfriend, but I want to be a few states away before I tell him. If he shows up at my parents' home, we're going to call the police. My dad and my brother said they'll come back with me later on to get the rest of my belongings. I don't know if I even want to go back there to get them. I just know I can't do it right now. Thank you all. Third update. I broke up with my ex and he has been calling, leaving voice messages. He accused me of coming to his home the day after Christmas, sleeping in his bed until 2 p.m., stealing 10K as well as a green bag. I've never stolen from him and I was hours away in a different state. He's adamant I was there. He has a ring camera which would show that I wasn't there. I went to a museum with my family, went out to dinner with friends. I have 8 people who can verify I was with them. Voice messages of him saying he had thought about ending it all on Christmas because I'm a selfish person and left him alone. Voice messages of him saying good luck finding your clothes. Voice messages of him accusing me of cheating on him. I have friends who told me that he has been saying I'm a prostitute because I stayed at a hotel. I still have not gone back to get my stuff. I want my things, but I don't even know what's left. The thought of seeing him again makes me feel like I can't breathe. I want him to leave me alone. I have thought about getting a restraining order, but I'm afraid it's going to be denied because he has more money and resources than me. In this case, all I have to say is that thank you got out before y'all actually got married, and thank you didn't accept that engagement ring straight away, because imagine what would have happened if y'all actually got married straight away and he would trap you, so to say, in marriage. He's literally trying to accuse you of a crime to control you and manipulate you. This is ridiculous, and good luck on getting out. I would just be like, clothes and whatever is left at his house is reasonable losses, reasonable expenses to never see that person again and to be safe. I don't think I would have gone back. I would be like, you can have it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can be petty. And it's giving you more power because he thinks that you are going to go back for your stuff and that he can torture you some more. And who knows, like if you show up to his house, he will then claim that, I don't know, you stole even more money from him. And God knows what he can do. The top comment here is, get the out and be prepared for some wild love bombing trying to get you back. You've tried to set perfectly reasonable boundaries and he repeatedly ignored them. The man needs professional help and you can't be that. Have a friend or relative help you pack. Don't be alone with him. Block all calls/texts. This man is definitely not a candidate for companionship in the woods. At least with a bear, we would hibernate together and everyone would do perfectly fine sleeping for months without this around. So this was the last story I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed the episode despite my a little bit up voice. Let me know in the comments what you thought about all of these. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video really soon, hopefully. Bye.